Hey NSYNC drummers over here on YouTube, just a little bit of context. This is me doing my best to answer and discuss this question that was asked in one of our recent Q&As over in the NSYNC drummers community. All right, let's jump into the question. This question comes from Jean. Hey Sam, I've been learning drums for a couple of years now, and at the start of the process, there is so much to learn just with the basics, let alone all the other cool techniques and tools there are to learn. I'm starting to feel confident with where I'm at and I'm ready for the next step, but don't really know what that is, and I seem to have hit a plateau. Do you have any suggestions for what to explore next? Or is it more about now exploring your own creativity and taking risks? Example, playing new or more complex fills with familiar songs. Example, there are no mistakes, just good or bad sounds. Absolutely great question, Jean. And my first thoughts on that is yes. It is time to explore and try things. Just try things. If it sounds good, it is good. If it's not, doesn't sound good, it's probably not good. And then ask yourself, why did that not sound good? Is it just not a good combination of voicings, as in ride, hi-hat, snare, those are voicings? Or is it that if I played it more cleanly, more in time, had more control over the timing of my limbs, would it sound good? So then you've got that opportunity to try and clean it up, and then, does this sound good? Yeah, so totally go for it. Try some stuff out. I do have an answer that I'm going to give. I hope it helps, but I will preface this with, I don't know exactly where you're at. Like you've said you've been playing for 2 years, but without like seeing you and having maybe lessons with you, because with students, like I know exactly where they're at, right? In saying this, if you want to post in the show and tell chat on the Patreon app, do so. Like we'd love to see you play. We'd love to encourage you and just, you know, share in your journey and where you're up to with drumming. Like that would be awesome. Whether it's a live stream or just a practice video at home, etc. We'd love to see it. So that's in the show and tell chat on the Patreon app. Obviously, the NSYNC Drums membership, which you're a part of. All that to say, I don't know where you're at, but I'm going to give you a bit of a checklist that will cover the skills that I think are really necessary for not just playing in church, but more catered to the stuff we play in church. And this is pretty short checklist. Although it's not exhaustive, it is still decently in depth. If you wanted to conquer every single sort of combination of what I'm about to share, then it would take a while to make sure you've mastered it all. And there's plenty more that you can learn in and for worship. But here is the checklist. I'll go over it briefly and then we'll walk through as much of it as I can in this time that I have in this video. So firstly, we want to make sure that we've got all the options of like hi-hat grooves, whether it's quarter notes, eighth notes, sixteenths, triplets, etc. We want to be able to play it on the hi-hat. We want to be able to play them on the rim. We want to be able to play them on the ride. And then going further into those groove situations, we want to make sure we have kick freedom. Can we put the kick on any number or any end or any 16th note, E's or R's, and then any combinations of the 1 and the E, 1E, or the R and the E, the R of 1 and the E of 2. We'll get into it in a bit more detail soon. So having kick freedom in all of those groove environments, those hi-hat patterns, whether it's quarters, eighths, sixteenths, triplets, etc. And then a very worship-specific thing is builds. Do you have the independent control of your limbs, your right, your left hand, and your right foot in particular? We'll get into that in detail soon. And then lastly, we'll look at accent freedom in single stroke roll, as well as the additional over the top of kicks, whether it's quarter note kicks or eighth note kicks, etc. So these three topics, these three areas, the biggest one is the groove environment. So let's quickly look at that. So can we play? Let's start with this. This is our basic rock groove. Most of us start here. This is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and So the first focus is the hi-hat or the right hand's job, or your dominant hand. You might be playing left hand lead. Can you play it as a quarter note groove? Meaning that your lead hand, your hi-hat hand, is only playing quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Can it play eighth notes like we were playing before? How about triplets? Which is counted 1-ender, 2-ender, 3-ender, 4-ender. And if you didn't know, this is pretty much what 6/8 is, or 12/4. It's sort of different ways of describing the same kind of groove. 1-ender, 2-ender, 3-ender, 4-ender is 4/4 played as triplets, or it's 12/4, count it the same, or it's 6/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But all it is 3 hi-hats per beat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So check if that is comfortable. Next would be 16ths. 1 E-ender, 2 E-ender, 3 E-ender, 4 E-ender, 1 E-ender, 2 E-ender. So that's 4 hi-hat notes per beat. You can also play it right, left, so two-handed. This is an important one for faster tempos. 1 E-ender, 2 E-ender, 3 E-ender, 4 E-ender. Take note, that's a backbeat. When I hit the snare, it's my right hand moving down, and the hi-hat is having a break when I'm hitting that. Right, left, 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 right, left. Those are the core, main ones that come to my mind, the core groove environments. They can be played on the rim, or on the ride, and also on the floor tom as well. Firstly, just check that these groove environments are sorted. That's only step 1 though, because at that point we're only playing the kick on the 1 and the 3 and the snare on the 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it is then time to work on kick placement. Now, can you put the kick on all the numbers? Let's just be in the 8th note groove. So kick is going to be on all the numbers. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4. And can it go on all the ands? So not the numbers, but just the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now we talk about 16ths. Can it go on the E of every beat? So 1 E-ender, 2 E-ender, 3 E-ender, 4 E-ender, 1 and 2 E-ender, 3 E-ender, 4 E-ender, while having the backbeat, the hi-hat, all sort of normal, but the kick is playing on the E. I'll slow it down so I get it right, and hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense slower as well. So 1 E-end, 2 E-end, 3 E-end, 4 E-end, 1 E-end, 2 E-end, 3 E-end, 4 E-end, and then lastly would be the R. So 1 and R2 and R3 and R4 and R1 and R2 and R3 and R4 and R1. And if each one of those feels good, then you try and do all of them back to back. So changing from just the numbers to just the E's, to just the ands, to just the R's. Now, what the heck is this all about? It's making sure that each 16th note option is comfortable, because it won't be initially. So that whenever any kick pattern comes along in a song, and just so you know, my simplified drum parts, I forego a lot of the 16th note kicks. A lot of times, if the kick is on the R leading into the 2, I'll put it in, because I don't think that's too hard. It's one of the ones I learnt quite early on. But any other tricky, especially double kicks in 16th notes, I leave out in my simplified drum parts, because yeah, they're cool and they are definitely necessary to play a part properly or as, as it was, and to keep that same exact feel. Like I think about House of the Lord, the kick pattern in that compared to my simplified drum part, they're pretty different, and it does feel different. There's still the core feel there, but because I'm simplifying the kick pattern, a bit of that spiciness definitely does go away. So I guess the goal of this is to make sure you could get to the point where you can play any kick pattern that comes your way. And currently I've just been showing you in 1/8 notes. You can do this in 16th notes and triplets, which is 6/8 or whatever, or even in quarters. And what I was just about to do was put all the kick placements back to back, which, why don't I do that? I'll show you that in 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a, so all the numbers, 4 E and a, then all the E's, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E, then the ands, 1 E and 2 E and 3, and then the R's, 1 E and R2 E and R3 E and R4 E, and back to the start, 2, 3, 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. R2, R3, R4, R1. What if we tried all of that in a different groove environment? So still 16th, but right, left, right, left. It's definitely harder because you're going to have the E and the R kick going with your left hand. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a E and a 4 E and a 1 E and 3 and wow, I just looked at my plant over there and I got so distracted. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and R2 E and R3 E and R4 E and R1. Because it looks really fake. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, well, I really didn't think about where it was. I just sort of plopped it there before. So that's okay. That's my excuses. Anyway, so you can try that in these different groove environments. This moving the kick around to make sure you have freedom with the kick. That was single kicks. You got to try double kicks as well. So that would be 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 E. Get them down and then go to the E and. So 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and, 4 E and then and R. So 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, and then 1 E and R2 E and R3 E and R4 E and R1. And practice them all on their own and then start to put them together. Let's just say I was practicing that in a quarter note groove environment. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. R2, R3, R4, R1 E, 2, because we're back to the start, 4 E, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... You can also do triple kicks, so that would be 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and then 1 E and R, 2 E and R, 3 E and R, 4 E and R. Then starting on the and, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. Then starting on the R, so 1 E and R2 E and R3 E and R4 E and R1 E. Just to make sure that anytime that there's a situation in a groove where there's 3 kicks in a row, that you're ready for it. Quickly, a summary. There's a bunch of different groove environments. Quarters, eighths, triplets, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and 16ths, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, and then there's all these options. Every count that we've got, which in 16th notes, even if I'm playing just quarter notes, there's all the 16th notes available. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and we want to make sure that any of those possibilities for kick patterns, E of 1 and the R of 1, that we can play that. 1 E and R2, wait, quarter notes. 1 E and R2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and R2 and 3. let's add something spicy onto that. 1 E, R2, and 3, and R4. The R of 3. 1 E, and R2, and 3, and R4. And 1 E, R2, and 3, and R4. And what about in eighth notes? What if I did 1 and, so 1 and, then 2 E and R, the R of 2, then 3 E and, the E and of 3. 1 and 2 and R3 E and 4 and 1 and 2 and R3 E and 4 and 1 and 2 and R3 E and 4 and what? Spicy kicks for days. Now, before we move on, I didn't show you any in triplets. We have 1 and a 2 and a 3. Can I put the kick on all the numbers? Of course. What about the ands? 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3. And what about the us? 1 and R2 and R. Oof, nearly missed it. 1 and R2 and R3 and R4 and R1 and R2 and R3 and R4 and R1. And then putting them all together. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and R2 and R3 and R4 and R1 and a 2. Now that's sort of the basics of putting the kicks in triplets. Obviously we didn't do double kicks like 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a. You could definitely do that. But what about putting it in the in-between kicks? So between 1 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and what about between the and the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and what about the between the and the number? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Because that would allow you to play stuff like this. I hope that makes some sense. This clearly isn't like a very in-depth course or lesson, etc. I'm open to doing something like that in the future, but this is just a quick overview of all the things that you can make sure that you've got under control, or if you don't, that you can work on. So that was the groove environments and kick freedom in those environments. We didn't talk about snare freedom, but you can also practice putting the snare on any count, just like we were doing with the kicks. Next in this checklist would be those builds and having limb independence. For the sake of the microphone, I'm going to stay off the ride and play in this position, and we're just going to talk in rights and lefts and kicks. So, first thing is, can they all equal one hit together? So, they're all just playing one hit. We could think of this as quarter notes maybe. Or eighth notes. Let's go quarters. 2, 3, 4. The next thing I want you to try and do is make the left hand play twice compared to everyone else's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Our hope is that the hi-hat and the kick, or the right hand and the kick, all stayed the same while the left hand went to 2 hits, or eighth notes, and 3 and 4. And can we make the right hand on its own change to 2 hits, therefore eighth notes? So it's now playing as the snare is playing the same as the snare, or the kick is staying on the 1 hit every time, or the quarter notes, and 2 and 3 and 4. And can we change the kick independently so it joins in the others as well? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And can we then double the snare again, so from 2 hits to 4 hits, therefore probably 16th notes, 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a. Then at some point I want to be able to change my right hand to that as well, while the kick stays as 8th notes, 1 E and a 2 E and a. Then I want to make sure I have the ability to change the kick to that as well, 3 E and a 4 E and a. So to recap, we had all the limbs playing on, let's just commit to quarter notes. So they were playing all on quarters, then the left hand changed to eighth notes, then the right hand changed to eighth notes, then the kick changed to eighth notes. So they're all changing at separate times. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you want them all to change at the same time. Sometimes you want both the hands to change, but the kick to stay the same. And then when we were there, we changed again the left hand to 16ths, and then we changed the right hand to 16ths, and then the kick joined as well. Now, a big thing with that would be, can you count doing that? And let me backtrack to the previous topic that we were talking about, the groove environments and kick freedom in that. To get that, to make sure you're actually getting that right, counting would be a massive thing to be doing to help you with that. And the same with this. Counting would be really, really good to do, because then you know exactly when to change, whether you want to change on the one of every bar, or to wait 2 bars and then change your left hand to go faster, or what if you want to change every half bar, so on the 1 and then on the 3, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... You could do that, and all of that is going to be needing counting. And counting is a massive thing to... It took my drumming from, yeah, I can play songs quite well, to, wow, I can nail songs, and I've got a lot more clarity in my mind to play extra stuff that sounds good and isn't just a flubby-wubby mess. So counting, make sure that's happening while you're trying this stuff out. So that's a short one. The last section or topic is accent freedom in the single stroke roll. So I'm talking about at its core, like at its most basic use, would be a groove like that. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... When I say accent freedom, I mean the accent is the one where I'm hitting loud, and in this case that's on 2 and 4. Do I have the freedom to keep playing right, left, right, left, right, left quietly the whole time, except for on the 2 and the 4? Do I have the freedom to hit the 2 and the 4 loudly while not wrecking my single stroke roll? 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Not only do I have the freedom to hit hard on those notes, but do I have the dynamic range where my ghost notes are really quiet and my loud hits, my accents are loud, and they're really different. Really quiet versus really loud. Now, obviously there's too quiet where you can't even hear it and there's no point in playing them, and too loud where it's going to hurt someone's ears. Don't do that. The kick freedom I have in this snare groove comes from practicing kick patterns and kick freedom in right, left, right, left, right, left in the single stroke roll, which is what this is. And then, so that's just a quick note on kick freedom. Now, accent freedom, you can train it the exact same way as we trained the kick freedom. Pick the first note, which is the 1, and do it on every number. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... And don't skip to the next one until it feels really comfortable and you're really happy with the difference in dynamics, the volume difference. So then you change to the E, which will be your left hand. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Then the and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Then the 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. And then you can do that in a cycle. And then you can start doing doubles. 1 E and a... I don't mean doubles as in right, right, left, left. I mean double accents. 1 E and a 2... Let me do this on the rim. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Then you'd move to the E and, so 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Then the and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Then the into the number. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1, and then trying to link them together. What that will do for you is, I haven't talked about kicks yet, but I'll play kicks in this example. Say if you're playing, there's plenty of bridges and builds that have this kind of vibe in it, right? Where you've got to play an accent pattern. Accent freedom will allow you to do that quite well, not quite well, amazingly. And that's the whole point of it. But let's talk about the kicks. So while doing these accent patterns, it's important to try kicks as well. A few common ones to try would be like not putting any kicks in, then putting the kicks in on just the just the one, so a whole note kick, then on the 3 as well, so half note kicks, and then on all the quarters, and then on all the 8ths. So it's kind of like a build with the kicks while the snare is playing the same pattern. So let's pick a pattern. 1 E and R 2 E, the R of 1, the E of 2, and then the and of 3. 1 E and R 2 E and the 3 E and 4, and 1 E and R 2 E and the 3 E and. And what I'm going to do is play kick patterns. I'm going to go the 1, then the 1 and the 3, then the 1, 2, 3, and the 4, and then all the 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So to recap that section, accent freedom in right, left, right, left, right, left, single stroke roll, usually counted 16th notes, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Can you accent while keeping all the other notes soft, ghosted, quiet? Can you accent all the numbers, which would be with your right hand? Can you accent all the lefts? All the E's, which would be with your left. Can you accent all the ands, which would be with your right? Can you accent all the R's, which would be with your left? Then can you accent double versions of those? 1E, then 2E, then 3E, then 4E, then the EN, 1EN, etc., etc. Then can you do them over different kick placements or different subdivisions of kicks is kind of what I did. The demonstration I just did them twice, but as you're practicing them, you would probably need to do them longer to make sure that these accent patterns feel good over these kick patterns. So one I would probably start with is just putting the kick on the 1 and play a whole bunch of different accent patterns. And then once they felt good, then you could move to the next kick pattern, the next subdivision, so the 1 and the 3 with your kick, and then try a bunch of different accent patterns over top of those kicks. Those are 3 kind of areas or chapters of our drumming that need to be dialed in and are things that are beyond simple. So the simplified drum parts I put in, I often forego accents inside single stroke roll. And by the way, accents don't just happen on the snare. There's a lot of, that makes no sense. There's a lot of 16th note hi-hat grooves. Phil Wickham is a good one. He does a lot of different accents. He doesn't in his songs, the drummer does. That's not an actual groove from one of his songs, but that kind of thing where he's accenting inside 16th notes, and that gives it this specific feel. So that's really helpful. And those are things that I simplify and I take out. So if you're feeling really confident with simplified drum parts, especially the ones that I'm putting out there, then these are areas that you can work on and build on and make sure that they're fully fleshed out and fully mastered. And whether or not you want to play more than simplified drum parts, they will allow you to. So that's my thoughts and sort of checklist to take you from playing simplified stuff to more advanced stuff. I don't really care about beginner versus advanced. Like, it's just, if you can do it, you can do it. If you can't, you can't. And there's some people that have played for a very short amount of time and are playing hard stuff that I didn't play until I was 10 years in, just because they tried to do it and just because there's someone show them. So just try it. I am going to wrap up there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being listening. And I'll see you in the next one. Bless you guys. Bye.